Peace and love, peace and love. Welcome to another powerful, powerful discussion with your sister, Dr. Maat. Tonight, the queens are in the building. I had the queens in the building. I have Sister Felicia from Hoppy Film. I have my sister Mia Miata. She's here. And Sister Fa, she was having some technical difficulties. She'll be back in. So she went out. She'll be back in, family. But tonight, we're going to be talking about the trans agenda to redefine womanhood and manhood. But before we jump into the topic tonight, I want to take a few moments out to speak with Sister Felicia about the conference. And I see you all are coming in. Peace and love to you, family. Share it. It's going to be a powerful show tonight. So make sure you share and let's get these views up. But I want to talk to Sister Felicia about the conference, the Hoppy conference that's going to be happening in Detroit. But before I do, ladies, go ahead and introduce yourself to the listening audience, starting with you, Sister Felicia.
Hi. Well, let me first say thank you, Dr. Maat. I mean, you always come through. That's what's up. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show. Thank you for all the support. You be up in our chat. And I'm like, yeah, there's Dr. Oya. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We really
No
appreciate
problem,
it
Queen.
because it's, a lot of times people think, specifically when we start talking about women, that's all about this, competition. It's like, no, all
Yes.
of us, all of us, like we all support each other.
Absolutely.
King Simon, Sonetta, like all of us. So I really just appreciate you.
No
Um,
doubt. Absolutely. And likewise, thank you so much for all of your support. Because every time I put up something on Instagram, I see that Hoppy is sharing, you're sharing. You've opened up the platform to me and had me
let
come
me
on
tell
with Dr. Leonard Jeffries. So likewise, I appreciate it.
Yes. And you know what? And congratulations. You're up to like 20,000. I remember when you first got on I remember you were talking about buck breaking and I was like, "Oh, you can't put the link here because we won't be able to tab on it."
Yes.
That seemed like now 20,000 views later. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
it was a young brother. He has a page called Bicklin,
Yes.
Bicklin.
Yes.
And
I love
that brother, he was running my Instagram page for like from
Okay.
September all the way to January. And so that young brother, I appreciate what he did. When I
Mm-hmm.
went to him, I had 1,000 followers, and he built the page from September to January. He built it up to literally
Yeah.
10,000 followers. And then he told me he had to fall back. He was like, "Look, Doc, I got my own projects, I got my own things that I'm trying to do." And so, Felicia, I'm sitting around like, "Oh my gosh, who's gonna run this Instagram page?" And so
Yeah.
what I decided to do was sit down, chop up my YouTube videos
Mm-hmm.
and just create clips and posts. And then
Yeah.
from there, it was easy to grow the page after he got me up to like 10,000 views. And so I can't take all the credit for that. That young brother, he really put in a lot of work. And so I just want to take some time to salute and acknowledge him as well.
Yeah, it's so funny. So we were, because he's always like reposting our things as well. So I reached out to him like, "Yo, do you want to have a affiliate link for the One Africa conference?"
Mhm.
And he was like, "Oh my God, yes, yes, yes." And so we started talking, and then and he was telling me that he was like working with you and stuff. I was like, "Yo, dude," I was like, "Your stuff is tight." So I was like, that's what's up. But I'm so proud of you because
Thank you, Queen.
everyone thinks this stuff out here is a game, but this social media stuff ain't no joke.
It's no
Oh,
joke. It's a job. It's a
yes.
job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, my name is Felicia. I'm one of the producers of Hoppy, the role of economics in the development of civilization documentary that is out right now, and also one of the creators of the One Africa conference.
Sister Mia, Sister Mia Miata,
Yes, ma'am. Hey, sisters. How are you?
doing fine. How about yourself, Queen?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to the listening audience,
Oh,
Queen.
sure. Oh, thank you for having me once again. And yes, I have seen you grow leaps and bounds, even since the last time we've been on together. And I just want to thank you for having me on your platform. And my name is Mia Miata. I'm the neo soul Nina Simone. I'm a vocalist. I'm a college professor. soon to be doctor. So somebody gonna be like, "Hey, doc, let me grow your
Come on,
cool."
come on. I'm gonna welcome you. I'm gonna welcome you to the. I always say welcome to the hood because you know when we receive our
Yes,
doctorates, we get hooded.
yes. And I'm gonna
So
be like, I'm a
welcome
big
to the
brown
hood.
woman. Let me back that thing up. I'm gonna be backing it up in that hood. You feel me?
Ashe,
Oh,
ashe,
it's all
ashe.
hood. It's all good in the hood, right? Um, but yes, I'm an author. I'm just a sister friend. I'm a lover of the divine feminine. So we're gonna talk about that tonight. I'm really excited, and I'm really excited to see what sister is doing with Happy Films, correct? And
Mhm.
the One Africa conference. That sounds amazing. And once again, I'm here just to share and be a part of this magnificent conversation we're gonna have tonight.
Ashe, ashe. So family join. I mean, family, look, I said join. Family, share the show. Let's get the views up. We're going to be dropping a lot of powerful information tonight. And as Sister Mia Miata said, we got Sister Felicia on here, and we're going to be talking briefly right before we jump into the subject at hand. And I know a lot of you saw the title, and yes, the title is "The Trans Agenda to Redefine Womanhood and Manhood." And I'm going to talk to you all about what motivated me to have this discussion. And we're going to get into some serious stuff tonight. But before we do, I do want Sister Felicia to talk about the One Africa conference that is taking place at the end of April in Detroit. All right. Her website is on the screen, www.hoppyfilm.com. So if you haven't seen the documentary, please make sure that you grab the documentary.
Mm.
Please make sure that if you can, grab a ticket to go to the One Africa conference. It's going to be amazing. I talked to Professor James Small about a week ago. And so he said, I'm going to be there. I said, now, Professor, I know how you get your knee and all that. Are you going to be? He said, I am going to be there. All right. And so go ahead, Sister Felicia, and talk to us about the conference.
Yes, yes. I told Professor Small the same thing. I was like, even if we carry you and that little broke knee with us, you are going to be up in Detroit because everyone. Listen, I told my brother, I'm from Detroit. I live in New York. I told my brother that I was coming home for this, for the One Africa conference, blah blah blah. He's like, okay, that's good. Good job, sis. And then, like the next day, he's like, oh wait, I was looking on the flyer. Doctor, is Professor James Small going to be there? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm coming home. Really? I said, really? It's like only your mama and your sister's gonna be there. You ain't coming home for us, but for Professor James Small, he was like, yo,
People
that's my
travel.
dude. Yeah.
People
So I was
travel. People
like,
travel for Professor. They'll
yeah,
travel for Professor.
yes. So we are really super excited. This conference, the One Africa Power in Unity conference, will be April 30th and May 1st in Detroit, Michigan. We were originally going to have the One Africa returning to the Source Conference in Aswan, Egypt, but there was I guess they were cyber bullies. I don't know what you can call them, trolls, whatever they
Mm-hmm.
were. They really shut down stuff, and we could not travel safely with our elders there. So we had to think, because not having a conference was never an option. And when that wasn't an option, we may have canceled the one in Egypt, which actually, when we're looking back at it, it really did us a favor because it made us start to have to really just broaden our horizons and really think about this idea of One Africa, which brought us to power and unity. Because the reality is that if anytime any Black folks, any place, something's going down, it needs to be a power of in unity to make sure those Black people are okay. And this happened to us, and it really wasn't a power in unity, because in a lot of ways we're still divided. But this division, it got to stop. Like, we can't progress if we can't get together. So we started to think about where we had got the most love from, which was in Detroit. We had a screening here back in September, and I'm based here. We have a lot of support with people, people here. Queen Nandy, her bookstore, the Charles Wright Museum, a lot of places. Dennis Boatwright, like all these Detroiters, Dr. Ken Harris, who will be at the conference. And so we started to make a plan and to make Detroit our, the resting place for this one, One Africa Power and Unity Conference. So we're super excited. We have a lot of people coming. Our tickets
I
for the
saw.
yeah, the tickets for in-house are almost sold out, but we have the live stream. And in the beginning, we said our goal was to get 1 million Black people on this live stream. That's still our goal. And our goal is for people to sit and watch this with their families, so that they can get inspired by these scholars. Because it's not enough for us to read their books and to read things and see, and, even see them on, on a live stream or whatever. It's about action. And so everyone that is presenting is charged with leaving people action steps, right? Because it's power and unity. It just doesn't happen overnight. Hey, Craig's in Michigan. And so the whole idea is for us to work on ourselves so that we know where we fit in the community, so that we can work on ourselves as a community. And so that's the One Africa Conference. We have Professor Small, Dr. Leonard, and Rosalind Jeffries. They rolling. And it's a big deal because Dr. Mama J said, she's in the middle of her teaching her semester, and she got papers to grade, but she's like, I'm gonna make it to Detroit. So we're really excited about that. Asar, Imhotep, myself, Taki, Dr. Susan Tata, Dr. Milana Karenga. I'm trying to think about all the people, but we have a lot of people coming through, and we have a little surprise we're going to announce on Wednesday, and we're in the process of possibly getting one more person we're going to add to the lineup, which we should hopefully be able to announce on Wednesday. But yeah, we're really excited. So we're like, we have to get your tickets. You have to see this.
Wow. And so do we go to Hoppy Film to get the tickets, or?
Yep. You go to hoppyfilm.com. You had it up earlier. You hit the Eventbrite link. We have a couple of tables. So it's cool because this will be our first official Hoppy marketplace. So in the hotel, we have one floor, which will be the conference. And then we have another floor, which will be a marketplace. So we want.
Are you all still accepting vendors? I might fly one of my sons out there.
Yeah. Yep. Listen, we got Infudishi was like, he won a table. I was like, you a presenter? And he was like, I'm gonna have a table too. I was like, there it is. So yeah.
Okay, so I definitely gotta reach out to you for that, and probably fly one of my sons through there and have him come through there and attend the conference.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And everyone's gonna be at the DoubleTree. It's at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Fort Shelby, which is downtown Detroit. So it's gonna be real super cool.
Okay, and you said we go here to the Hoppy, and you said, what do we click? We go to Hoppy Film.
Yeah, you just scroll down and you'll see the event link. You hit that, and there you go, right there.
Oh, you purchase your tickets right here.
Yep, and so you can get a streaming ticket, you can get an in-person ticket, or you can get your vending ticket, and it's all on the same link.
Oh wow, look at this! Look at this! Oh my goodness, family, this is powerful. Saturday, April the 30th, 2022, DoubleTree Hotel. And look at this lineup. Dr. Milana Karenga, Dr. Bello, Professor James Smalls, just like you said, everyone you named, Dr. Jeffries.
Yep, there's a couple people that we had to, that at the last minute, are not able to make it. But we have some really good substitutes. We can't wait to talk about the substitutes. But
oh wow.
Yeah. So you get you go right there. You go to our event, bright picture, tickets. Yep. And and this is the thing, it's $50 for the live stream. It's $50 for it's 2 days. So it's two full days of lectures, and
right. This is more than reasonable.
Yeah.
This is more than reasonable. And so if you in person, 115, and you watch the live stream, 50. If you want to do be a vendor, 135. I think this is more than reasonable.
Yeah. And so the vending piece is cool because one, we have it comes with your table. So you don't even have to bring your table. You just bring your merchandise. You get your table, it's already set up. You just sit down, throw your stuff out there. And, so we're really encouraging and working with the city of Detroit to get people who are maybe not coming to see the conference, but just want to come and shop. Because that whole buying Black, like our four principles of Hoppy. Number one, love Black people. Number two, support Black businesses. Number three, she's back. Number three is to become more financially literate with your money. And number four, teach the youth the truth. And so our, supporting businesses, Black business people that look like us, that's really super important to us. So we had to make sure we had a place for that to happen.
Absolutely. Well, Queen, look, thank you,
So thank
thank
you.
you. Peace to you and brother Taki for just having the vision. You know what I mean? Like having the vision to say, look, we're going to get these master teachers all in one place,
Absolutely.
and we're going to give the people access to them.
Yeah.
And I love what you said at the beginning. You said that they're not just going to be talking, they're going to be giving people action items.
Yeah.
So this isn't a sermon and we just talking. This is
Yeah.
okay. These are action items. So I'm gonna lecture you and talk to you about this, but this is what you need to be doing.
Yes.
And so I love that. Go ahead, Sister Mia Miata. Did you want to say something, Queen?
Yeah, and that's why I stopped going to lectures years ago, right? Because I just felt like I left with all this information and I had no direction on what to do with all this knowledge, right? Knowledge is mental. Knowledge is, we're going to talk about that tonight, right? Knowledge is masculine energy. And I'm cool with that. I'm both, right? But to putting it in practice and to put it into a lifestyle, right? And to
Yeah.
cultivate that, like she said, teach the youth, that's feminine energy, right? And
Yeah.
so I celebrate this conference. I'm going to be there. I'm not going to be there physically, right? But I'm going to get a virtual ticket because I need those action plans are
Yeah.
essential. We're in 2022,
Yes.
right? And we're talking about having a Black woman on the Supreme Court for the first time since the history of this country. And we are Ma'at. We are the representation of Ma'at in the physical
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
flesh, right? And so
Yeah.
Dr. Ma'at, who's her namesake, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so
Ashe.
I say that, like, I celebrate you, sister. This is an amazing event, right?
Yeah.
I got, some issues with Karenga, but I'm a resolve that, right? Within myself, right? I'm a resolve
You should
that.
watch the show. I interviewed him yesterday, and
Okay, okay.
you know, I tell you, he laid down some stuff for us that was so powerful in that interview. And I know, a lot of people may feel like how you feel, but I think that you should give him a chance to look at that.
I'm gonna give him a
Look,
chance.
look,
Yeah.
yeah, he's about his business. I can tell you that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
I like
I was so, I mean, I couldn't even, I was like this. I kept saying yes. I was like, I found myself like sometimes when we interviewing people, when they're just on it, it's like you can't even say nothing but yes, 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 and
I
that
know
was,
the feeling.
yeah, and that was me like all day. I couldn't even, I might have asked him like 3 questions, but the things he was saying, just like how we described the African Holocaust, and he was like, no, it ain't no Ma'afa. He's like, Ma'afa means accident. It wasn't no accident. So he gave us a Swahili word, which I can't pronounce, but he gave us a Swahili word for it. And I was like, damn. And he was like, even when we say slave trade, he was like, absolutely not. It wasn't a trade. What were we trading? Like, I mean, so it was just really a powerful interview. So I would say,
I gotta check that out. I saw that you interviewed him last night while I was
yeah,
at an engagement, but I said I had to hop back on and just check it out in the archives.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And peace to King
But,
Simon. King Simon, I see you are in the
oh,
building. Peace to your love. Peace to your love. And peace to
yeah,
everyone in the building. I see DNR Multimedia and Talent Agency. My sister LaDoja Wright. She's
yes.
in the building doing amazing, amazing things with her hair project. She's doing it. And
Mm,
peace to Brother Garfield. Brother Garfield podcast is in the building. So I see you. I see you in the building. Says Brother Water Snipers in the building. Indigo Sense. A lot of you are in the building. Daryl McIntosh, Keith Weston, Craig Samuels. So a lot of you are in the building. Thanks so much for Mitchell Guest. I can't forget you, Mitchell Guest.
can't forget Mitchell Guest.
Yeah, Mitchell Guest is in the building.
Yeah.
So peace to everyone in the building. So Sister Felicia, thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for coming on. You're welcome to stay and kick it while we unpack this topic tonight if you want
Yeah.
to.
Let me tell you, I'm sitting at my mom's house in Detroit. I forgot how cold as hell it is up in here. Yo, oh my God, that's why I'm sitting in my coat. I'm not gonna go there. She's a nice lady. She don't like to turn on the heat, but she a nice lady. So look, I'm gonna go. I just gotta get warm. I'm sorry. That's why I keep moving. You see, I'm just like this. I'm
You
like
said I
this
gotta get warm.
today.
Would you
Yeah,
say, Felicia, you gonna go sit
but
in your car and blast the heat?
absolutely. But thank you guys. I love you. I love you. Keep that
We love
history
you too,
warm,
Queen.
Miss Miata. I
We
love it.
love you too,
All right.
Queen.
Oh, thank you, Sister Felicia. You're amazing. Thank
Yes,
Oh,
she
you. Thank
is.
you for everything. And I'm going to touch base with you because I foresee myself doing a conference at some point. And
Oh,
so it would be nice to maybe work under your tutelage and for you to, just show me the ropes. I would love that.
let me tell you, between myself and Miss Brittany Motley and Taki, I mean, we are learning whole new skill sets.
Mm,
And
mhm.
that's all I have to say. We like learning new some things I didn't even know. You just don't even know what to ask, but it's working out. So yeah, anything I got, you got. So there it
That's
is.
what's up.
Look
That's
at all
that,
this. Look at all this black girl magic on the
that's
panel.
sisterhood. Yeah, that's sisterhood, honestly.
All right, awesome, guys.
Ashe.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and love.
Peace
Peace
and
and love.
blessings.
Oh, Sister Afi clicked off again. I don't know what's going on with her internet. But all right, family, we're going to jump into tonight's discussion at hand, and let me show you all something. Let me show you what really upset me. And I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it because YouTube, they're copyright. They give you a copyright. As soon as you play something, you got a copyright strike and all of that. But I'm laying in my bed, family. One evening, Sister Mia Miata, Sister Effie, I'm in my bedroom, just laying back, chilling, watching TV. Boop, boop, boop. And a commercial comes on. It's the Adidas commercial. And it was like, anything is impossible, that we're making the possible impossible. And then they started talking about, trans women competing in sports is the impossible, and we're making it. And I said, whoa, I said,
Right.
oh, I see what they're doing. Because I've really, and shout out to Dr. Jared Ball, who wrote the book, The Myth and Propaganda of Black Buying Power. Shout out to him, who made me start really studying propaganda, studying Eric Bernays, the father of propaganda, learning the history of propaganda and how propaganda is used as a tool to control and to manipulate us. So I said, oh, I'm looking at propaganda that is trying to get us to accept, right? And to be okay with trans. In the commercial they said trans women, but I don't even like saying trans women. That's like saying trans persons, or I don't, like you said, I don't even know what to call the term, because it's impossible to convert from a man to a woman to a man. I don't care how much estrogen shots you take, how much testosterone shots you take. If we were to extract your DNA, right, your cells would be comprised of XX if you're a female, XY if you're a male. So you may be able to fool the eyes, right, with growing a beard and growing things. You get what I'm saying? The aesthetics, but you're still not a woman and you're still not a man. And this is not a bash session. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just stating facts. And so what I have seen is this effort to redefine what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman. And so they're using propaganda. So in this commercial, Adidas is saying, "Oh, yeah, we're making the possible impossible. We're making the impossible possible." And oh, now look at trans women competing in sports. So what I notice what they do with the propaganda, and I tell people all the time, I don't think that we understand how manipulated we are by propaganda. Okay, let me give you a prime example, ladies, and I'll pass the mic. When I was reading up on William, is it William Bernays? I'm sorry, the father of propaganda. You all, I know his last name is Bernays. But when he was, and hold on, Edward Bernays, that's his name. I'm sorry, Edward Bernays. He's the father of propaganda. He studied the mind. Okay. And a matter of fact, let me tell you what he said. Let me tell you what he said. And you all know I like to bring receipts when I talk about things. I had just literally talked to my son about this. Edward Bernays, he said this decades ago. He said the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in a democratic society. Wait a minute. He said those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. This is the logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. Vast numbers of human beings must cooperate in this manner if they are to live together as a smoothly functioning society. In almost every act of our daily lives, whether in the sphere of politics or business, in our social conduct or our ethical thinking. So, what you deem is right or wrong, he says, I'm sorry, ethical thinking. He said, we are dominated by the relatively small number of persons who understand the mental processes and social patterns of the masses. So they study your mind, right? He says, it is they who pull the wires which control the public mind. So now we see propaganda. Adidas commercials are talking about trans women competing in sports, making the impossible possible. Now we're getting hit with Dr. Rachel Levine is named one of 12 women of the year. This is a trans person. This is a man. I mean, she looks like one. I mean, this is a man who was literally crowned one of the 12 women of the year. Who does that? Then you see, I mean, we go back. Look at this. Penn swimmer Leah Thomas becomes first trans woman to win the NCAA swimming championship. This was a swimming championship. This was for women. And this trans woman was given the green light to compete in a woman's sport and won. Where's the uproar? Where was the uproar when this transgender fighter cracked his female opponent's skull? He was fighting he's an MAA fighter. This is a guy who said, I identify as a woman. And they put him in the women's MAA fighting tournament, and he ended up cracking the woman's skull. Where's the outrage? I'm going to pass the mic. I'm just going to say there is a deliberate effort to redefine what it means to be a woman in the society and what it means to be a man in a society. And I refuse to allow society to control my mind and to dictate my morals and values. I refuse through propaganda, through their propaganda machine. I refuse to. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic to somebody. I digress, but I'll go ahead and pass the mic, whoever wants to speak.
Well, let's just talk about the fact that, even if you identify as a woman, as living as a male, you've had certain privileges, right? So what's the person that was nominated for Woman of the Year?
Dr. Rachel Levine.
Okay, Dr. Richard Levine, right? So, but listen, Dr. Rachel has had years of privilege as a man, right? Okay, let's talk about it. Years of privilege as a man, right? And now wants to step into this arena and compete and align himself with other women when he is not a woman. He has not experienced the things that I have experienced. He has not, experienced childbirth. He has not had menstrual cramps where you're doubled over at work, or you're pumping breast milk at work, and you're trying. I'm just saying that is an unlevel playing field. Period. Not even to mention the sports arena, like you were talking about, right? And so it's well, let's talk about it. Blurred lines. This is a society where Robin Thicke said it, and he got called up on that shit. It's a lot of blurred lines, and I'm gonna just speak from experience, right? So I'm sitting in a class, very tall girl, big feet, face beat to the gods. right? Breast and everything. And I'm like on the, that's how slow I am, right? This is before this may be like 6 years ago, before this whole trans, um, thing came up, a big thing, right? And so I'm market attendance and I say, Destiny, why does it say Michael on my roll sheet? And she says, Miss Mia, that's my birth name. My jaw hit I had no idea. I knew her feet were pretty big, right? But I was like, I got big sister, big women in my family, since I had no idea, right? And so from that point on, I'm looking at her as a man. Like my whole perspective has changed, right? And so what I'm saying is that if we can be easily fooled, and we got a young generation, and I see, on Instagram, it's too much content. It's too much content, right? I see young boys twerking and putting on wigs, and the whole, you gotta, in order to make it in Hollywood, you gotta dress like a woman. It's just a little too much for me. It really is. And being a Black woman, right, in America, you can never identify with what I've been through.
Come on.
Never. You can never, ever identify with what I've been through.
Come
Period.
on.
Period. Right? And so no, we are not the same. No, like you said, I don't care what you do physically, aesthetically to change your appearance. You will never understand what it is to be a womb man. Right? Never. Ever. Ever. So let's talk about it.
Sister Effie, what's your thoughts? Because you said when I first reached out to you, Queen, you was like, I got a you said I got so much to say. You said I have so much to say on this topic. So go ahead, speak your mind, Sister Effie. Go ahead, speak your mind, Queen.
So I think this is just a lot of how this country loves to play the semantics game. I think it all boils down to, like you said, them attempting to redefine what a woman is. Me, myself, I don't particularly care about European foolishness. I'm neither here nor there with whatever they do. The only reason why I felt like I had something to say about this topic is because if I remember correctly, we had some sisters that were running track and they would not let them run because their testosterone levels were too high.
Yes,
so
I remember the story.
It just needs to be fair. Test them for their testosterone level. Have a threshold, have a maximum. Because this whole, trans woman, I think is ridiculous. I don't think the general public is ever going to be able to accept that because generally it's just not natural. It's like the sister said, like there's no womb there. Now, me, myself, I've not had children. I've not breast pumped. So when women say that, to me, that's not a sensible thing to enter into the conversation because all women don't experience the same thing, yet we are all still
and you're
women.
absolutely right. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And we also have genetic disorders where chromosomes don't align you up to be the normal identification of a woman. But still the X chromosomes are there. They're just there in partial or copied or different fashions, whatever the case is. Those kind of things are exceptions to the rule. But when you are clearly XY, no womb, I think that's where the line needs to be crossed. And if this country is going to accept trans, whatever the situation is, then there needs to be some standards set. This level of testosterone is the maximum that's acceptable because there are cases where a certain level of testosterone is not accepted when a woman is clearly a woman, a natural woman, and her testosterone is high. So it's not fair to let a man run and to not take his level of testosterone into consideration. As for me, I'm not finna call no man, ma'am, miss, whatever. Your wig, your surgery, your breast, none of that makes any difference to me. If I know you're a man, you're finna be sir or whatever your name is. I don't really care for that. You have to accept me, whatever the case. I do not. And if you feel like I'm offensive to you because I am not accepting, because it's not a matter of respect. It's a matter of you trying to push something on me to accept that at this, I'm finna be 40 next week. I'm not finna go from knowing male and female all of my life to the last 15 years, 10 years. All of a sudden, there's a third gender category that I need to get accustomed to addressing. I will not. And my background is in psychology, and I will not. It's not a normal, it's not a natural thing. And how someone else that is going through that process feels, it's neither here nor there for me. It has absolutely zero effect on my life. So, I let live and let them do their thing. But when it comes down to encroaching on my ethics and my morals and my understanding, I've already solidified that, and I have no intentions on reforming how I view genders. And we have to be clear: genders, not sex. Genders, you know.
No, absolutely. And I'm sitting
and
here
this whole,
thinking,
I'm sorry.
oh,
And
no,
this
go ahead, go
whole,
ahead, go ahead, Queen. Go
and
ahead.
this whole term about cis women, like because I was born, what the fuck is that? What is a cis woman?
I learned what that was yesterday. That
I'm a
is that
woman.
is that is when, like, this is so ridiculous. That is when like me, that would be me saying identifying as a woman, but when I was born, they identified me as female, and now I continue to identify as a woman. That's ridiculous. It's like, okay, so I've always been that. So why are you putting something in front of it? Just call me a woman. And oh well, you can't, because there are other different types of women. No, there are not other types of women. They just need to figure out something else to call themselves instead of saying I'm a woman. Just trans woman doesn't even make sense, because you're not transforming into a woman. It's just ridiculous.
Right. That's what I said. And you know what, our elders, and peace to Baba Mwalimu Baruti. He's been on the show a few times and had some powerful discussions with me. And he talked about how what the Europeans do is they control our reality through definitions. So they define, they come up with all of these different terms, which then constructs a reality for us. So it was very powerful, Sister Effie, when you said, I'm not going to allow somebody to, encroach on you said my morals, my values, you said in my own understanding. Hell, I want to add in our definitions, right? Because that's one thing, that's a power that one thing that they've weaponized, a power that they have. And like you said, that is to come up with stuff. I was reading the book by Baba Balogun, an African-centered response to the LGBTQIA community. And he talked about how the word homophobia was made up. You get what I'm saying? And so they are coming at us with these terms, cisgender or this, and that is how they construct reality, through definitions. That is one of the ways they construct our reality, through definitions. And so we had to practice Kuji Chagalia. That's my favorite. And Nguzo Saba doing Kwanzaa. I love the whole concept of Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. So being self-determined and to define for ourselves. That is important, because that is how you construct your reality.
Right.
So I didn't know, Sister Mia, did you want to hop in?
Yeah, well, my question is, right, you talked about a Dr. Baruti, and he is, in my opinion, one of the last masculine examples.
Yes, he
of
is.
Black African masculine. Anybody that calls himself a teacher, you need to study up under him, right?
Yes.
And I have the utmost respect for Baba Baruti. Okay.
Yes.
So my question is, now we have Africans roaming the planet who identify as trans this and trans that, right? So now, how do we collectively, as a community, as a family, how do we deal with it? How, are we accepting of it? Are we loving of it? Are we rejecting? What do we do as a community, right? Because it's real. Right? In our community, right?
Yeah.
I saw the young woman or the young man that, identifies as a woman and has Michael on the rose sheet. Now I don't know what the hell to do. You know what I mean? Like, do I say, I would, I'm just saying, I'm just asking the question, what do we do? How do we accept this? Do we love this? Do we reject it? What are we doing as African people?
I'm gonna let Sister Effie go first, because I'm over here like, like I'm over here like
I'm a Garveyite. I'm a Garveyite. Everybody can't go. That's my answer. Everybody can't go. I'm a Garveyite. I am perfectly okay with, yeah, you look like me. We come from the same culture, and guess what? We are completely different, and you can't go where I'm going. I'm
Mm,
okay with that because that is a choice. That is absolutely a choice. We can have a debate. It is absolutely debatable about homosexuality being something you can be born with, or something that you acquire, or something that is forced upon you through trauma, through genetics, through food modification, all these other things. We can debate that back and forth all day, and there's evidence on both sides where you can have a pretty good argument. What you cannot argue is there's some kid born trans. It's not going to happen. That means that is
mm,
absolutely a choice. And if you're making a choice to follow that culture, then you cannot be a part of my culture. The
mm,
thing about Black folks is we're too forgiving, we're too inclusive, even when it comes
mm,
down to our own community, when they're clearly doing stuff that is not indicative of productive, upstanding, cultural, invested, self-determining, but Black people. So when you're
mm,
doing something that's so opposite of what your community is doing, which is very European, to have an individualized way of thinking instead of a collective way of thinking. So if you're going to think as an individual and not as a collective, what is acceptable in your community, what has been acceptable by your ancestors, what is acceptable for the hardest, farthest push for your community. If you're not with that, you're not with us. So
mm.
you're gonna be on that island by yourself. That's my standpoint on it.
And the elders have told me that too, because I've talked to elders who actually share your same sentiments as Daffy. They were like, Doc, you can't save everybody.
Can't save
I mean,
everybody.
that some people going to listen, some people going to be ready, some people going to be. You can't save everybody, like you said. That's what the elders said to me, and they said sometimes. And Baba Baruti have said this. He said it may be your own family members that can't go, and you got to be prepared to move on. You got to be prepared to go. Some of it may
I
be
mean,
mama.
if we not taking the rapists, we not taking the child molesters. What I mean, everybody can't go.
Right. That's what he was saying. Everybody can't go. Sister Mia Miata, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm reading Sister Tiffany's responses, right? And so she made me think about something. Shout out to Miss Tiffany in the chat, right?
Mm,
She said it creates a culture or something like that that harms women, right? So
mm,
you're talking about a man physically, genetically, a man, right? It's in a ring with a woman, right? And cracks her skull,
crack her
right?
skull.
And so now this becomes commonplace. This becomes acceptable, right? And so women, we're already at a disadvantage culturally, globally anyway, right?
Yeah,
We, especially Black women, and this is quoting from Brother Malcolm. The Black woman is the most unprotected woman on the planet, right? And so now we have these, like the person said in the chat, they're not transgender, they're transvestites, right? That's the proper term. Okay. So we have
mm,
these transvestite males who are masquerading as women, right? But they still have the brute force of a man, right?
absolutely.
Mm,
And so you know, and I'm gonna speak about this really, really quickly. Like I worked in an elementary school, right? K through 8. I have a big problem with K through 8 because I don't think that eighth graders should be using the bathroom with kindergartners. I have a big problem with that. And some
mm,
of these eighth graders are 15, 16 years old and have failed a few times. So if I got a problem with kindergartners using the same bathroom as eighth graders in a schoolhouse situation, I don't want to use the bathroom with a grown ass man. I don't.
Hmm.
Period. He should
Hmm.
not be allowed to use the same restroom as me.
mm. No, I
I
agree.
do.
No, I agree. And someone in the chat asked for us to define what it means to be a woman, define womanhood. And so could one of you ladies or both of you ladies, tackle that definition? What does it mean to be a woman? I have so many different ideas in my mind right now. It's ridiculous. But what does it mean to be a woman? How would you define womanhood?
It has nothing
I
to do with
think
makeup or none of that. It's that makeup or how you look. It has nothing to do with that. And sorry, Sissy, Ife, I'm really quickly. It to
okay.
me it's on principle, right? It's on being a nurturer, right? Being community based, right? I'm not saying that males don't have those characteristics, but first and foremost for me as a woman, I am a nurturer, I am a caregiver, right? I am, whether I've had children or not, I am a mother figure, right? People look to me for comfort and for advice, and I stand on certain principles as a Black woman, right? And so it has nothing to do with how I look. That's it's beyond that. It's more spiritual for me, right? It's more of a spiritual principle on in womanhood, and that's what it is for me. And I'm gonna step away just for a second. I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, no, go ahead, Sister Effie. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? What it means to be a woman? Someone in the chat said, "Well, what are your definitions of womanhood and manhood?" They want to know our definitions.
And that's why I say this is semantics, because the honest intellectual part of me is aware that a woman, describing what a woman is not genetically, scientifically explaining what a female is. So for me, a woman is someone who experiences common things that most women across the globe experience, which is, like you said, childbirth, which is marrying a male, which is taking on the traditional gender roles that were enacted to be for a woman's position. I cannot, in all honesty, say woman equals female, man equals male, because I know a bunch of males that I wouldn't call men.
Come
You know what
on,
I'm
come
saying?
on, come on.
I know a bunch of females that I wouldn't call women.
Come
So
on.
I think that is a cultural term that's going to be identified differently depending on where you are on the globe. Clearly, in this country, a woman is not defined as the person who is always rearing the children and cooking and cleaning, even though that is the case in many parts of the globe. It means something different. And that's why it needs to be defined in the realm of it needs to be contextualized. In sports, it needs to be defined differently than how it's being used day to day. I'm just very clear that all women, from my understanding, the way I choose to look at the world, all women are female. Female and the few variations of the female chromosome that can happen. That's it. That's as far as my scope of purposeful understanding goes. It doesn't mean that I'm not aware that someone can define woman differently. It just means I'm choosing to not accept that. I'm acknowledging it. But in how I move day to day as a Pan-African, as a Garveyite, as a woman, as a female, I'm choosing to limit how far you can push that definition on me. And you can define it however you want to. It does not mean I have to accept it. That's the thing that boggles my mind. It's like the gay community, the ABC, the LGBTQ. I don't know why I said ABC. I really did not
You
mean
did say the ABC.
I did not. I did not
the
mean.
ABC community.
I just always hear people say the alphabet club, but I did not mean that. So the LGBTQ whatever is serious about pushing their acceptance on people, which I don't understand. Just do your thing. Just do your
baby.
thing.
Live your life, baby.
Live your life, and
live
you
your
wouldn't
life.
get all of this strife and this judgment and this discrimination. Just do your thing. I don't know why there is a need to be so overt. If you're transgender and or transsexual, transvestite, trans any of that, why do you feel like you need to tell me? If I've not offended you, why do you feel like you need to tell me? You know what I'm saying? If there's something you feel like you need me to know, if you look like a man coming here with a skirt and heels on with your deep voice, and I say, "What's up, man?" or "Yes, sir," whatever. "Oh no, I'm a woman." That's cool. Thank you for letting me know. It doesn't mean I'm about to correct what I said, but I acknowledge that that's how you like to view yourself. And if you don't like how I'm responding to you, stop talking to me. It's very simple. It's very simple. But for some reason in this country, they feel the need to force people to get on their train. And I'm just not interested in riding that train.
And Queen, look, did you know? And I got this from again reading Baba Olatunji's book, an African-centered response to the LGBTQIA community. He talked in his book about how, and I see this coming down the pipeline because I spoke to one of my cousins. She's an educator in the Howard County school system, and he mentioned in his book, and she confirmed it, that now by law in public school system, you have to call the child, and I'm using my words carefully. You have to refer to the child, because these people are under 18. You have to call them by the pronoun that they prefer.
Their chosen pronoun. Right.
It's by law. And even over at Morgan, because I remember she told me that, and I read it in his book. And then at Morgan, they told us we had to do the same thing. So if a person comes into your classroom, and I remember my cousin was telling me, literally, she had a young lady who came into her classroom, and she teaches in high school, by the way. And she said a young lady came into her classroom and said, she called her miss or ma'am or something like that. And the young lady said, don't refer I want you to call me Mr. His and him. Those are the pronouns I identify with. And so my cousin said, she's like, how hard is that? She said by law, she had to do it, right? Like she had to do it or else she would lose her job. And so she said it was hard for her to sit there and look at this person who's clearly a little girl say to her, no, I need you to call me him and his. Those are the pronouns I identify. I identify as a guy. So you got to, I want all the male pronouns. And by law, they're telling teachers, educators that you have to respect that. And so I'm with you, Sister F.A. The imposition is what gets to me. It's kind of like we're all supposed to play along in your delusion. We're all supposed to play along in your gender dysphoria. And we're all supposed to accommodate. That's what we're really doing. Accommodate your delusion, right? And accommodate your gender. What is it? Is it called dysphoria? Something like that. It's in the DSM-5 or whatever. But you want us to accommodate this. And that to me is what is really unfair, that the imposition of this is kind of like you're forcing me to accept this. And I think that is the problem that a lot of people have. It's not hate. Because if someone says, well, I don't accept this behavior, I don't accept that behavior, they're automatically categorized as, homophobic, transphobic, any phobic, transphobic, homophobic, biphobic, whatever, simply because people say, hey, I disagree or I don't prefer. It's like they're you're literally labeled a hater soon as you just say, hey, I don't agree or I don't accept or, I prefer not to indulge in this. Now you become a hater. So it's almost like society is saying, look, you don't have any morals and values. We dictate your morals and values. We dictate your definitions. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I agree, but I don't care. So, I mean, you guys are educators. It's kind of a different, situation. And even when I was in my career, which was forensic therapy, I was on the research end. So I still didn't have to deal with people that came in with issues. But I don't know. I don't know. I stand on my square. It's not natural to me. So you just can't. I know to chastise someone. First of all, how the brain categorizes things is a millisecond judgment. A millisecond judgment. So for you to say, well, for my eyes to see a man, for my ears to hear a man, and for you to say, no, I'm a woman, my brain works faster than me consciously going through the effort of remembering that whatever my senses are registering, that's not what that's supposed to be. It's a traumatic thing. It's a mentally and psychologically traumatic thing for you to go against what your brain in a millisecond is processing. And you have to consciously alter that result that your brain computes.
Mm.
That is in the long run, that's traumatic. So we're all going to be delusional running around here. They're delusional. We're going to be delusional. Just how the country, just how the government wants us to be, all delusional. That's what's going to happen if we give into this thing where a man, we have to go through the conscious effort of calling you a woman because that's what you prefer. In 20 years, we're going to be dumb. We're already getting there in this country with the
I think
educational
we
system.
already there. I think we already there.
Because the extra effort, the extra brain power that it takes for your brain to naturally compute something and for you to conscientiously change that, and then for your behavior to follow through after that. It's like racism. It's like stereotypes. Stereotypes exist because your brain processes information so quickly. So it has to throw things in huge categories, and then it pulls from a huge category to a smaller category to a smaller category to it's heuristics. It's heuristics. It's a process which most people aren't aware. There's a mental process. That's why stereotypes exist. That's why all stereotypes are not necessarily racist or discriminatory. It's just how your brain has to function with all the information so that you don't spend 5 minutes trying to make a decision every little thing. Imagine if it took you 5 minutes to decide how to tie your shoe, to decide how to scratch your arm, to decide how to blink. That's not how it works. Your brain just works too fast for that. It's the same way as when I see a stranger walking down the street. The main thing your brain is going to take in is the largest attribute they have, which often is your skin color, unless you're completely clothed. That's the first thing you're going to notice. The second thing is likely going to be the gender. That's just how the brain works, because it's the most common thing that your brain can take in a rapid speed capacity. It all boils down to science. But because the majority of the general population isn't aware of these things, that's why we have these debates. That's why it's like, oh, well, we should, transgender people should have these rights and that rights. You're going to change my brain? You're going to change how my brain works? You're going to change how most people's brain works? It doesn't work like that. And what really boggles my mind is Black transgender people. We haven't gotten to a point where we can make people understand us based on our skin color. You think I'm supposed to be worried about somebody identifying me based on something that's hidden behind my clothes? It's madness to me. I don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it, and it seems way more detrimental to me than it does seem progressive. And honestly, I don't think all progressive things are healthy either. This is definitely something that people identify as progressive that I think is detrimental. Which is again why I leave European madness where it is.
And look, and Dr.
So,
Wesley Muhammad said that when I had him on the show.
ahead,
He
sister.
said what you just said. He said a lot of these ideas that they throw out there, it's
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
He said, "Well, I don't want to be progressive. I'd rather be." He said, "I'd rather be stuck in called old school and not progressive."
Oh,
I
can't hear you. Let me 1 second. Let me click back in.
Okay, but Dr. Wesley Muhammad said straight up, he was like, He said, don't label me progressive." Dr. Wesley Muhammad, yeah, we can hear you, Queen. Dr. Wesley Muhammad said, "Look, I ain't progressive by society standards. Let's keep me where I am." But like you said, Sister Fa, and I know she said she's going to come back, and I'll address this with you, Sister Mia Miata. She talked about European madness. She called this madness, European insanity. I don't think that people understand.
Okay.
And salute to Nana Marimba Annie. Salute to her and the Yarugu. I don't think people really understand the people, the nature of the people that we're dealing with, the nature of the people who have constructed this reality that we are experiencing. I think people think that we're dealing with a stand-up group of people. We're dealing with a group of people who are insane, and they have a history of insanity. If you study their history, if you study their culture, if you study their psychology, They have a history, a track record of being insane. And these are the people that we look to educate us, to
Yeah.
tell us about medicine, to tell us about health, to tell us what's good, what's bad, what's successful, what's unsuccessful. These are the people that we literally look for. In groups, an insane group of people. Sister Miata, did you want to jump in?
Well, no, I wanted to get back to the pronoun. There was a whole uh training I had to go through, right, on pronouns and how to address that in the classroom. And I have yet to address it in the classroom because unless you tell me, I'm going to assume, like Sister Effie said, my eyes work quicker and it sends a signal to my brain that you are male and you are female. Unless you say to me, I prefer for you to use the pronoun. And even if that conversation came up, I would just address that person by name. Fuck a pronoun. I'm not using a pronoun. I'm going to say, Johnny, how are you today? You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to use the pronouns because I feel like that I shouldn't have to refer to you as something other than what you are. Right.
Right.
And so my question is, when you talked about Urugru and the pathology of let's just call it a spade, the pathology of white people, I would like to know, on the continent, is there any historical evidence of Black people identifying as of the other gender or the opposite gender than what they originally were born? That's what I'd like to know. You know what I'm saying? Because this is not our culture. This is, and someone said in the chat, this is not natural. It's not. It's not. We're getting further and further and further away from just what is natural. You know what I'm saying? Just what is natural. You know what I mean? What are we evolving into, right? And so don't call me progressive, like Dr. Wesley Muhammad says. Call me old school. Call me
That's right.
old school.
Yes.
She said she's about to turn 50 in a couple, 40 in a couple weeks. I'm about to turn 50 in a couple years. So I'm definitely old school. I'm 47 years old. It is what it is for me. You know what I'm saying? And so my question is, how young? You said in elementary school they have the
This
choice?
was high. No, this was high school.
High school.
She was in high school, and there's a little young girl that came in there, and she said she looked at the girl, looked like a little girl, and the girl said, "Don't call me a she, or her, or call me him. Use male pronouns. That's what I. And she said when she looked at her, she's like, "Golly, how can I call this little girl? Look like a child, little girl, telling her." Don't call me a girl. Don't use female pronouns, right? I want to be, call me this. And this is physically a little girl that she's looking at. And someone in the chat mentioned non-binary. Yeah, nowadays they have another thing where it's I don't identify. I identify as both, or I don't identify as neither. Like,
It's
what?
either,
Like, what?
right?
What? I'm non-binary. I'm neither. I'm neither, or what? What are we?
So what they driver's license say?
Non-binary.
It's blank. Like, what does it say?
Like, it's like, what?
So I just wanted to chime in on the pronouns thing. I'm an artist now. I'm a full-time artist now, and I work exclusively with Black galleries. I don't participate in exhibitions that are curated or managed by Europeans. I just choose not to. But it's like you said, what are we turning into? Because the whole people of color, it's such a cringy term to me. The whole what is it? BIPOC. The bi. I don't even know what the I is. The I with the bi. The BI, is that for bi? BIPOC. Bi and people of color. So common in art is they'll have these things called call for art, which is where a gallery is letting you know, hey, we're putting on an exhibition. You can submit your work. So the last couple of years, we've had this big trend about bi and people of color exhibitions, giving Black people a platform in the art space, which is another space that's predominantly controlled by old white men. So they went on this journey to try to get more Black artists seen and all these things. But now the applications have a question: what are your pronouns? What do you identify as? On I don't remember seeing these things a couple of years ago. So much to the point that one exhibition I really wanted to participate in, a Black-owned gallery, a sister was curating, and it was a mandatory question because on the printouts, a lot of them will print out little identification cards that they'll put next to the artwork on the wall that'll have the name of the piece, the medium, the size, all of that thing, and a line or two about the artist. And they wanted to put pronouns next to the artist's name. I'm like, leave it blank. But they couldn't leave it blank. Okay, well, then I'm not participating. It was such a ridiculous thing to do that you could have just left that blank if you wanted me to participate. Wasn't particularly interested in participating in a show that was highlighting bisexual artists. Anyway, I'm not bisexual. The people of color part, I guess you can include me in if I mean, I don't know. I just hate that term. I hate that. But it's trickled into everything. The pronoun thing is trickled into everything. And I don't understand the they, the him. I mean, if you're a man, clearly you're he, clearly you're him, whatever the case is. If you look the part, then I guess people are going to call you that without you needing to tell them. But for you to ask me, I don't look like my daddy. Clearly, if you shave my head bald and I was muscle on top of muscle, I still look like, oh, my face is clearly feminine. It made no sense that I need to announce to everybody, call me she, her, and they, or whatever the case is. It just made no sense to me, and it turned into such a nasty back and forth email conversation. I was like, just pull me from the show. It's not that serious.
Right.
But they were adamant about listing it, and I just thought it was a ridiculous thing to do. But I feel like more and more, I feel like I'm starting to see that as a requirement more and more.
Yeah, I think Black people are trying to jump on the bandwagon with this thing, and I put that on an email one time. He, she, her, hers. I never put that shit again. I was like, Mia, if nobody can't understand that you're a woman without putting this bullshit at the bottom of this email, then guess what? They just won't ever know.
Right.
I will never. I won't. If you get an email from me and it says he, hers, she, I've been hacked. It's not me. I'm not ever gonna do that shit again. After I did it, I was like, what the fuck are you? That's
and
the
people,
dumbest shit ever. I'm never doing that shit again. Ever.
People do it. I was looking at emails, like you said, the signature at the bottom, like
that's the dumbest. I'm never doing that
your
again.
pronouns, and I was like, what the hell is this?
Right.
What the hell is this? But I just wanted to address Ninty in the building. Ninty, and I'll send you the link. See, I love to intellectually spar with people. I do this all the time. So you made the comment, there are people who are born with ambiguous genitalia. Hermaphrodites occur in nature. People are born trans. People are born. What'd you say, Queen?
Oh no, I was saying that's what I was alluding to earlier when I was bringing that up. There are a few scenarios where the scientific sex can be blurred, and those are the only instances where I would accept a conversation about I look like a woman but I want to be a man, or I look like a man and I want to be a woman. Those are the only instances where I would entertain such a conversation.
Absolutely. And she did mention that earlier. But the last part, when you say people are born transgender, I disagree with that.
No, people are born intersexed.
Yeah, this person said people are born transgender.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yeah, whoever said that is absolutely, technically, scientifically wrong.
Okay.
You cannot be born transgender. Transgender means transitioning from one gender to another. So how exactly are you born in transition? You are intersexed, which means there is a blurred line between what sex you are, whether it's a very small blurred line or a very wide blurred line. You can have 90% of a biological female's makeup and 10% of a male's. You can have a vagina on the outside and have one nut on the inside. That's not transgender. That's not you changing from one thing to another. Transgender is an outward appearance. And if you want it to be an inward appearance, it has to be surgical. Mm-hmm. So whoever said that is absolutely wrong. I would encourage her to go do a little bit more research on that topic. Not on that topic, on that vocabulary.
Look, I
because
was
that
getting
is
ready to
absolutely
bring up.
not correct.
Look, I was getting ready to bring up my presentation and go in, but you already answered
Oh,
it. I
no
was like,
need. That don't
that's
even
why I
make
had the
sense.
presentation.
Trans means movement. Trans means movement.
Mm-hmm,
You don't even need to do a whole presentation for that. Trans means
mm-hmm,
movement. If you're born, what is the movement? What is the
mm-hmm.
movement from one gender to another when you're born? There's no such thing. So there's no trans. That's
Absolutely.
intersexed.
Yep. And Ryan said it right here. He said, right, born intersex, no transgender. Facts. Everyone's saying the
Sorry,
same
sis,
thing you
whoever
said.
said that.
Everyone's saying the same thing. They said transgender is transitioning. And
And you know, the sad part is she probably been telling whoever said that, whoever we talking about, because I didn't catch who we were talking about. But whoever said that, it's probably some people that respect her knowledge and information, and she didn't grossly misinformed a bunch of people. I'm quite
yeah,
sure. Because
yeah,
people love to listen to people that they admire and not go back and do their own research, you know?
that's a fact. That's a fact. That personality worshiping, you know what I mean? That personality worshiping instead of, like you said, just fact checking what the person is saying. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah, someone said either you're born with a prostate or you're not. I can't. I can't. I can't. People in the chat are cutting up. People in the chat are cutting up. And they said, but that's rare though. The hermaphrodite that you're saying, hermaphrodites, they were saying
Hermaphrodites are rare, but intersex is not as rare as the common population thinks it is. I'm not going to quote the statistic because it's not something off my head that I can quote. But it happens. You know, it's not like a doctor is going to deliver a baby and be shocked when they see an intersexed child, because it happens. It happens a lot.
right.
You can have a child that comes out that looks like a female baby, and it can be a male with a micro penis. You can have a child that comes out looking like a male, and it's in an engorged clitoris. So that's where the biology and genetics boils down. That's why this whole woman thing, it's an issue, because they're not saying I'm a female. They're saying I'm a woman because they know they couldn't get away with saying that they're a female. You know what I'm saying? All this conversation is behind
I see
that
what you're
one word, woman. What is a
Woman.
woman?
right,
All of these
right.
conversations are around how various people, various cultures um, define a woman.
Yeah. And you basically said at the beginning of the conversation, Sister FA, that being a woman is subjective, but being a female is objective.
Yeah. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you
Yeah.
said I'm not. So you say I'm not going to waste my time arguing with people who want to define, the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman. You said, but being, we can argue those different definitions for what it means to be a woman, because it's actually cultural, right? Like it depends on your
Yes.
culture, right? But you're
Yeah.
saying being a female, that goes beyond culture. Like that's objective. Like that's universal. No matter where you
That's
are and what culture
universal.
you
No matter
belong
where
to,
you are on the planet,
right?
they know what a female is. But you have Native American societies that have multiple genders, that have dozens of genders. You have Asian societies that have 4 and 5 genders. There are societies where they believe that like what we would call a very effeminate, very overt, very what do you call gay men who are just really flamboyant, right? Flamboyant. You have societies where men that are super, super flamboyant, like in a lot of Asian cultures, they identify them as a gender, a different gender. Move there if that's what you. But this is, and it's not like I'm trying to say I'm proud to be an American or something like that. But this is the culture that I was born and raised in. So what I've grown up knowing is there are boys and girls, there are males and females, there are women and there are men, and all women aren't all females aren't women, and all males aren't men. That's what I know. That's what the people who are around me on a regular basis believe and move accordingly with. And your personal feelings and how you personally view the world and the psychosis that you are voluntarily participating in is not allowed in my space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you ladies a question. Why is it such a push for, trans women, right? I'm just using the term so we'll know what I'm talking about. Why is it such a push for them to be viewed and acknowledged and accepted as natural and biological women as opposed to trans men. Like it's like this push on women on women. I don't see the people who are transitioning from female or from woman to man. I don't see them trying. I don't see as much of an effort for them to redefine manhood. So why do you think it's like, well, let's go after the women? Like you see, literally, you saw right here, the woman of the year, the transgender woman is winning swimming championships, competing against the women. Then you got the transgender fighter who cracked the woman's head because he identified. Why do you think it's such a push on the women and redefine more so than redefining manhood?
Because men are naturally forceful and aggressive.
Right,
They're still
right.
men.
Yeah.
They're still men. They're naturally forceful and aggressive. So they're going to continue on their mission. It's like wars throughout history. Men push stuff till the end. They push stuff until somebody dies, until, I'm talking about like historically. I think that's just what it is. I think because patriarchy rules the world, men are not satisfied until they feel like they've been heard or pacified, or they've achieved whatever the goal is. And I'm not saying this as some kind of dig at all men in general. I mean, just in terms of this topic, the way I see it is that because I think men are just naturally adept at pushing their agenda until they get what they want. And unfortunately, in patriarchal society, women push as far as men let us. And then it's like we give up. You know what I'm saying? In general, that's how I feel. I'm not saying it should be that way, but I do feel like if it comes to the same type of topic, like you're saying, women who are identifying as men or men who are identifying as women, we don't hear about it as much. And I know several women who are gay and totally dress like men, take the masculine role in their relationships or whatever. But when somebody called them ma'am, they're not like, oh, I'm call me ma'am. You know what I'm saying? But I know a few men who do that. They go way and it's like the enigma about super flamboyant gay men, but you don't really see super flamboyant gay women, you know? So I don't know. I feel like women only take it so far, maybe because we are naturally nurturing, so we care about the comfort level of people around us, whereas I feel that a lot of men do not. So it's like they can continue to push a issue past other people's level of comfortability. I could be wrong, but that's how I think.
Yeah, that's it. No, I appreciate that. Sister Mia Miata, why do you think is this push for trans, women to be viewed as natural and biological and women, as opposed to that push for trans men to be acknowledged as men? Why do you think it's that push? We see it more so with trans women than trans men.
Yeah, because women were the equalizers, right? We're the balancers of the planet, right? So if you can offset that, right, with this illusion, right, of femininity that is clearly unnatural, as the person in the chat said, right? You're taking the planet, you're taking the essence of what it is to be a woman off kilter, right? It's not that's not natural. That energy is not natural. That forceful brute cracking somebody's skull, that is not us. That is not what we do. You know what I'm saying? And so they understand, believe me, like the sister said, they have studied this for millennia, probably, how sacred that this vessel is to be a woman, right? And so like, I don't care how masculine you are as a woman, you're still a woman. Facts. Right? And you still have,
that's a good point. So are you saying that happens because to be a woman is such an amazing thing that they want to be a part of that, so they continue to, like, I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
I'm trying to understand it too. So trust me. I'm trying to think through this as I'm talking. But yes, sister, to be a woman is a magnificent thing. It is an amazing thing,
Mm.
right? To be a woman and to operate in your womanhood.
And they want that. They want
Exactly.
that.
They want it. They want it.
Mm.
They want it.
Absolutely.
They because
Mm.
it's magical. It's like the sister said, black girl. It's electrifying.
Mm.
Yes.
We are the balancers. We give fluidity to this motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The water, the planet is feminine in nature, right? The water
Yes.
element is feminine in nature. I'm talking about energy right now. I'm not necessarily talking about gender, but we encapsulate that. You know, we walk around in this feminine female vessel, right? Because we embody mostly feminine energy, right? Yeah, I have both, right? I'm a Leo, so I that's a masculine sign. I'm loud, you know what I mean? I talk a lot, you know what I'm saying?
That's
I'm mental.
cultural. That's cultural, though. That's
It
cultural.
sure is, because I'm an Aries and I'm all of that
Yeah,
too.
that's
So
That's right. I'm
cultural.
fire, but I'm also soft, and I'm nurturing, right?
yes.
And you know, and I'm understanding, and I'm talking about principles here, right? And like you said, I'm more about the collective than I am about the individual, right?
Right.
And so that's what women do. That's what we do, right? That's why we're having. That's why Dr. Maat brought us on here to have this conversation, because we need to define. We need to redefine, not even redefine. Fuck that. I'm doing a lot of cursing on here tonight. I apologize to your listeners, but we not read nothing. We need to stand firm and what it is to
Absolutely.
be a woman.
Absolutely.
I'm not
We need to
anything.
reject all of this Urugu madness.
Yeah,
Facts.
It is
exactly.
madness.
Facts.
Facts.
Rejected. Facts.
Facts.
Rejected. And don't we can't let it into our minds. We can't let it into our spirits. I know it's hard. I told my students, I said, there's 3 things I strive to do every day. The first thing is think freely. I try to think freely, because I told them, you know, everything that we see and hear is political. And Baba Baruti taught me that. It's political. Everything that you see and hear. So you need to be mindful of the things you subject yourself to, because everything is political. Anthony T. Browder, Baba Tony taught me that. You gotta be mindful, right? Of what you subject yourself to, because
Absolutely.
there are forces that are orchestrating and utilizing tools. And I know people probably saying, "Dad, Dr. My sounds spooky." No, this is real. That you have people who have agendas, and they use and create tools to implant thoughts in our minds to get us to think a certain type of way. And we know that thought follows behavior. So once they implant the thoughts, then we go out here, then we behave certain type of ways. And so literally, I tell them every day I strive to think freely. The second thing, I strive to perfect my character. I strive to think free,
Yes.
perfect my character. Do I fall short? Absolutely. One of my students came to me, Queen, and I'm looking right at him. He took me for 3 semesters, three different classes. And he came to me one day. We were in the office, and he said, "Doc," he said, "Can I be frank with you? Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Go ahead." I'm sitting in my little chair. He said, "Everybody got a little nigga in them." He said, "How do you tame the nigga in you?" And I said, I'm chuckling to myself, right? Like, did this boy just say, "How do I tame the nigga in me?" Right? So I'm chuckling inside, but I'm sitting at my desk in my chair, propped up with a straight face. And I said, "Well, Mr. So and so," I said, I would define it as like higher self and lower self. And I started getting into, what your higher self looks like. And I started talking about the principles of Ma'at and being a Ma'atian man and being a Ma'atian woman. Shout out to Baba Imhotep, who wrote the book,
Yes.
Black African Manhood in the 21st century. So being a Ma'atian man, being a Ma'atian woman, how to me, that's like your higher self. And then I started talking about things like lying and not moving with integrity, lower self stuff, being deceitful, being this. And so I said, every day it's a fight, right? Every day we fight for, we those things fight. Those forces are inside of us and they're fighting. Some days you get up and you like, I want, so, and then some days you're like, hold up, let me tame that. So I was telling them that it's a fight, you know what I mean? And so again, I wake up, I want to think free. I strive to perfect my character. right? Do I fall short sometimes? Hell yes. But I get up the next day and I try to perfect my character. And the third thing is move with a purpose. Move with a purpose. You know, I get up, I don't want to waste my time. I had to, whatever I lend my time and energy to, it has to be purposeful. And so those are the three things that I strive to do. Why did I start talking about that, Sister FA? What did I get into that for?
Uh,
I didn't
I
lost my
think we
train
were
of
just.
thought.
I think we were just talking about, standing on our square and holding on to our
Yeah, and so
identity.
thank you. And I just kind of mentioned the three things that I do, but we have to, like you
Yeah,
said,
I think
stand
that's a
firm.
cool. I just sidebar. I think that's a cool conversation about how much of the nigga you gonna. Me personally, I don't take issue with that term. I know a lot of our people do. I say it a million times a day. I
Mhm.
identify my own understanding of it. I see positives and negatives, and it all depends on it's like code switching. It's like
Yes.
code switching. Sometimes I'm a black person, sometimes I'm a nigga. I don't think they're both the same thing. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I don't think you need to have one and the other at the same time. I don't think they can or cannot coexist. I think it's all subjective and contextual. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different topic,
Yeah, it's
But I
No, no,
thought
no.
interesting.
I
I'm
We're,
thought that
listening.
was interesting.
it's
Mhm.
interesting we're having this conversation because I was talking to myself. I talk to myself all the time, right? And I was like, I'm sick of niggas, right? Talking about
Mm.
males, low energy type of niggas, right? And I was like, I want a nigga, right? A
Right, yes,
niggoose,
right?
a
Yeah.
niggoose. You know what I'm saying? Like a king god. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
sick of niggas. You know what I mean? I'm tired of attracting. I was speaking to myself. I'm tired of now I'm tired. I am what I used. All what you say you are. I do not. I choose no longer to attract niggas.
Mhm.
Niggas.
I choose to attract niggas. And
Mhm.
you
Niggas.
ladies are the first manifestation of that in my life since I made that statement a couple days ago. Thank you, niggas. Thank you,
Mm.
sister niggases, right?
Mm.
Because
Mm.
Yeah.
we're vibrating at a higher level, right? We're saying some stuff that people are not going to agree with or want to be in alignment with, and
Yeah,
we
they're
don't
not.
care.
Look,
That's
look,
okay.
I'm not
look,
referring
Mr.
to you
X.
as a male if you're a female, and vice versa. I'm not going to do it.
Look,
I'm just not that chick. You know
look
what I
at
mean?
Mr. X said. He said they're going to call you ladies conspiracy theorists for thinking critically and having open discussion. They want you to
That's
follow
okay.
the
That's what a
narrative.
conspiracy theorist is. So
Narrative,
I'll be one. I have
absolutely.
no my issue. I am my understanding of that comes from, of all places, Paul Mooney. My understanding is how dare I to myself let white people take a term that was not originally theirs and to make it derogatory and use it against my ancestors and me to this day, and think that I have to accept their definition for it. I have to accept their use of it. I have to accept that how they've used it, how they've weaponized it is how I need to accept it, and I do not. I don't. So I'm good with nigga. I'm good with niggas. Niggas good with me.
Mhm.
No, that's right,
Mhm.
So,
sister.
but when I am, dealing with someone that's of my village and it's offensive to them, I don't even ask them why. My understanding does not need to be your understanding. But if I respect you and you choose for me to not utilize that word in our conversation, I'm happy to oblige you, because I'm
Right.
not into disrespecting anybody who hasn't disrespected me.
Right.
But don't try to force my hand on how I use vocabulary. It's just not going to end well, because I'll sever that relationship before I accept you trying to put some kind of sanction on how I use vocabulary. It's not going to happen. And unfortunately, most people don't even care. They don't even ask you, oh, you should be shame on yourself, you should do oh, did your mother raise you that way and do it? Yeah, she did. She don't say nigga, but when I say it, she don't bat an eye. So yeah, she did. She's good with it. So it's like that type of thing. It's like we're just not always going to be in agreement, and that's okay. But I do things purposefully. And I feel like when we have an issue in our community, when we have a collective issue, I do try to do my due diligence, and I try to take in perspective how we view it collectively and how I view it personally. And if it's for the good of our community, for me to concede to how our community does things, I'm happy to fall in line. You know what I'm saying? But our community has not collectively come up with a good enough reason for me as to why we're going to let white folks control how we use words that existed before white folks used them.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. And Sister Maud, I want to thank you because you said something on your page and you referenced the word black, right? And I said, sister, what do you say to those people who say we are not black and that black is it means white or and all this other stuff? And you said I would refer those people to do some more research because we refer to ourselves as black, which is the essence of
Yes.
all things, before the colonizers referred to us as black, right? We identify, we're talking about words and identify and how we identify, right? Before I identify as a woman, right? I am black, right? I come from the blackness of the universe, right? And so I just want to thank you for planting that seed in me a couple of weeks
Mm.
ago because I was ignorant, right? I'm thinking like, okay, well, maybe that person might be right. No, I'm standing on my square. I'm standing on principle. We are black people, right? And we called ourselves black before anybody called us black. This is what we are.
Right.
This is who we are as black people, right? And from the cosmos, right? And yes, negus, negas. Yes, this is who we are. And so I just want to appreciate. I know the conversation is kind of like diverted a bit from the gender conversation,
No,
but
no,
this is
no.
an important conversation to have as well. So I just want to thank you, ladies, for putting that emphasis and being unapologetic about our terms and how we refer to each other. And I saw somebody put in the comment about Paul Mooney, how he stopped using that term as derogatory towards black people. And I'd like to learn more about that. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you, ladies, for expounding on those terms as well and those definitions as well.
No, and thank you, ladies, for just taking time out of your schedules. I wanted to go hard that day. I was feeling some type of way after watching the commercial and then hearing that Dr. Rachel Levine was crowned, one of the women of the year. And I was like, I was on the phone, like, I gotta call up the sisters. I'm going like this, Remember on the movie Panther, and remember how it was like a squad of warrior queens, right? I'm like, let
Mm-hmm.
me call up the Warrior Queens to come on here to unpack this with me because I was livid watching the propaganda that's being pushed for to convince society to accept, transgender persons as the sex that they aspire to be, right? And so I'm
Right.
looking at this propaganda at hand, and I said, goodness gracious, I said, I gotta call the queens up and just have a public discussion about this, because what they push their propaganda, we have ours to counter it, right? Like I always think like in terms of counteracting something, right? So they have this, so what do we have in place to counteract what is being imposed on us? And so having discussions like this, right, is a part of counteracting what's out there. Because like you said, one of you talked about how our children, they're on YouTube, they're watching all of this stuff, they're on Instagram, TikTok, IG, and Twitter. And so what content are we, right, African centered people, what are we putting out there to counteract it? Now we don't have the resources that they have. They got cold corporates behind them pushing this stuff, and they're in control of the algorithms. And so they're putting things in front of people. But we can do our part, right? And that is to
Yeah.
counteract by putting out, discussions like this. So I want to thank you, ladies, from the bottom of my heart. Both of you ladies are extremely busy. Extremely busy. So when I tried to get you that night, y'all was like, what about Friday? We could do Friday, but nah, I can't do it tonight. And so I just
Yeah.
thank you, ladies, from the bottom of my heart for coming on the platform tonight. Sister Mia Miata, I definitely want to bring you ladies back to have a conversation about body shaming. I want to talk about body shaming. I want to talk about colorisms. We already talked about hair. We talked about hair, but I do want to talk about colorism in the Black community, and I do want to talk about the body shaming of women. That's why a lot of women are running out here getting these fake bodies, getting their stomachs, the fat in their stomachs sucked out. What is it called the Brazilian
BBL, where
the
you
B-
Yeah, and
suck
that
it out
kills
your
me
stomach and
because
put it in your ass.
right? They're
us that
taking your
already
stomach and
got
putting it
hips and butt and breasts, now everybody think that we got work done.
right.
Because it's such, I don't know how common it is, but I guess men think it's way more common than not. So a woman who naturally built like that, now they think we
That she got
had
some
work
work.
done. It's like,
Right. That she got some work.
no,
Yeah, and it's like
it's
it's
crazy.
this, and then it's like this image that's constantly being put out there to make young girls feel like my body has to look like that. I have to go get, what do you call it? The BBL. What do you call the system, Email?
Yeah, BBL.
BBL. I gotta go get a BBL. And some women are dying from those bot surgeries. They're flying down to South America, getting them done, flying into Mesoamerica, getting it done. And a lot of them are dying. So anyway, I would love to bring you ladies back
Yeah,
to
that's
have
a
a
conversation that
conversation.
needs to be had. And also featureism. That's another term I
That's
just
another
learned
topic that
recently.
we could talk about. Yes.
Absolutely,
Yep. We
absolutely,
can unpack
absolutely.
all
It's
of them.
what? Featureism?
Featureism. Yes,
Yeah, like
featureism.
the sister Ari Lennox. Are you familiar with her?
The
I
singer?
heard of her.
Yeah,
I've
she's a
heard her. I
singer.
know who she is.
She's a
Yeah.
singer, and it was something about her nose or something like that, or Tiana Taylor. How they were saying they look like Rottweilers, and all. I was like, what? This is where we come to as Black people. The broadness of our nose and the structure of our faces. Now they're picking that apart now. Like this is crazy. This is crazy.
Okay,
And
everybody can't look like their mama though. Sometimes you gotta look like your daddy.
Right. Right.
Sometimes you just gotta look like your daddy. I don't understand. I don't get that either. I don't understand that either. It's like, yeah.
No,
Yeah, and
that's a
I'm raising a
fact.
young woman, right? And I just have the conversation. Oh, I want to get. Oh, they're having a special. I could go down to You're not going to Miami, and I'm not signing anything, and you're not getting anything done because God, the Creator, made you how you are. And I've had work done, and I will talk about that when we do the conversation on body shaming. But it wasn't to to conform to any beauty standard. It was for myself. You know what I'm saying? I have my teeth done, I have my eyebrows tattooed on. You know what I'm saying? Stuff, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that we got a whole generation out there that don't think they're good enough.
And I think we need to sit back. I think we need to definitely convene again to unpack all of that. So, ladies, what are your closing words? What are your closing thoughts?
Go ahead, sis.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to say something to Dr. Maat. I saw the pictures of you and your Black sons, your Black masculine sons in Africa. In Africa. In Africa. The pictures brought tears to my eyes. Because I said, this sister I mean, that's not an inexpensive trip. And that's 3 people that traveled, right? And I said to we're having this conversation. And I know that they clearly identify as Black males.
Absolutely.
Strong African Black males who have a responsibility to the community, have a responsibility to the women and the children in the community.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? And so I just want to thank you. I want to thank all women who are raising Black males to be Black men, Black males to be Black men, right? I appreciate you. I appreciate you, sister. I appreciate you having a conversation with a young man like, listen, brother, I got to tame the nigga in me because I have to think. I have to think collectively every day. I have to understand that nigga got to go. That sometimes I got to bring that nigga out, but sometimes I got to put that nigga away.
Come on. What I'm saying? Come on.
You see what I'm saying? And so for you and what you represent in the community and this platform that you've created, and the sister talked about earlier, how you went from a certain amount of views to 40,000. I mean, I don't remember what the number is, but I'm just saying you're putting in the work. And the sister for you and because art is what we are as African people, right? And it's the essence of being a woman to create something, right?
Yes.
Even we talked about being a mother, to take that seed and create that human in your womb, right? You create and you're an artist. And so and I'm an artist as well. So I just want to thank you ladies for having this is a difficult conversation, right? You know,
Mhm.
this is not an easy conversation to have. And you know, the person in the comments talked about us being conspiracy theorists. Well, what we're thinkers, right? And we think objectively, right? Because we were born female in our DNA, and that is part of the thinking process. So I just want to thank you ladies for allowing me to, you know, to have thinking processes during this conversation. You know, like when she asked me a question, I wasn't really quite sure how to answer it, but I'm gonna think it through. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
And those are the
Yes.
kind of conversations that we need to have. We need to have these
Right.
think tanks, right? These forums where we hash things out. We don't always agree. And it's sister said, "Oh, no. That person in the chat, they got that shit wrong. I have to go back to the drawing board on that one." And that's the kind of conversations we need to have.
No, Ashe, Queen, Ashe, and I just, appreciate your words, your acknowledgement, your unwavering support, your beautiful voice. We got to do something. We got to, Mia. I'm telling you, you have to. We gotta do something, some type of
You got to figure out how
performance,
you can get
some
me on
type of.
Morgan's campus, and I'll sing to the masses.
Yes,
Yeah.
we gotta do something, because I tell you, when you start speaking, when you start singing, I said this sister speaks to my soul when she
She
starts
does.
chanting and singing, and oh my gosh. And so we got to do something. And sis, good luck with that. What is the dissertation going to be finished? Because you're getting ready to. Yeah, I know you're writing right now, and so
Yeah,
when do you think it'll be finished?
my study is qualitative. It's on a group of students in the Sandtown Winchester community of Baltimore,
Mhm.
and we're gonna be the voice of the community, where we are going to unpack a lot of the trauma that we are carrying around
Mhm.
as African people, and not just generational. I'm talking about the shit your mama put you through. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just keep it 100. Or the things that, you know, we carry around so much trauma, and then we're not allowed to talk about it. That's not your story to tell. You can't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the kind of things that we need to start unpacking as African people, as Black
Absolutely.
people
Absolutely.
So
globally.
when is the dissertation? You said the dissertation. You still working? I
I'm
got you. You
working,
still
I'm
working?
editing, I'm working hard,
Oh
right?
no, I know, I
And so,
know.
but this is what it's going to do though, for us collectively. It's going to open up these kinds of conversations on a whole nother level, right? And so I am appreciative
Hmm.
Absolutely,
of the
absolutely.
process, right? And I'm growing and
Beautiful,
I'm learning in the process.
beautiful,
That's
Sister
wonderful.
Effie.
I remember those dissertation days. Good luck, sis. I know it's going to be amazing when you're done with it.
Thank you.
Ooh, y'all couldn't get me to write another dissertation.
That's the hardest thing I've ever done, honestly. It really
Yeah.
is.
Beautiful. So Sister
Well,
Effie,
I mean, I mirror the same sentiments of the sister. Whenever you send a call, I try to get there as soon as I can, because one thing about your platform is that you do like to spar a little bit, but the one thing I always notice about you is that you listen and then think and then respond. You're not trying to put together a response while someone is talking.
no,
So I think you do this show for understanding. And I love that at the end of them, there was always some collective acknowledgement, um, whether the guests disagree with you or you disagree with them or not. There's always some kind of collective acknowledgement and understanding that the conversation was necessary, was warranted. And I just enjoy the platform. So I appreciate you calling me on. I love being a part of your circle, and the sisters I get to meet on here. Amazing to extend the network. And yeah, that's all I have to say, because I leave European madness where it's at. So
where's that? And Queen, tell us
where it's
about
at.
your exhibition that's coming up. Right? It's in the fall. You said it's going to be.
Yeah, I haven't made that announcement yet, but
Oh,
unfortunately I canceled. Yeah. No, it's okay. I was going to. I just haven't been on social media in several weeks. But yeah, so I've decided to cancel. I actually had two, one in Atlanta and one in Wisconsin near Chicago. But I've canceled them. I have to get through some other personal things this year. So
okay.
my actual next exhibition, unless I change my schedule again, is going to be in Houston in January. So, whenever I get those, that show is definitely happening. But whenever I get exact dates, I'll announce it sometime late summer. But as of right now, I'm just chugging along working, and you know, that's pretty much it right
Yeah,
now.
I just want to be one in the number when it happens. I just want to be.
Yeah.
I
Well,
want to be
well,
one
I'm
in the
actually
number.
going to be in an exhibition that's going to be in Baltimore, but I won't physically be there. It'll be a group show,
Okay, but your
but
work
I'll
will be there.
definitely give you that information. Cause I know if somebody in Baltimore gonna go, you gonna go. So I'll definitely,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So
Look,
your
because
work will be there.
people still go to my website and ask me, is that piece available that you got? You need to go on, let me buy it back so I can sell it for 10 times over to
I'm
somebody,
not
because
doing
people
it.
harassing me about that piece.
I'm not doing it. I'm keeping that piece. I love that piece and I'm keeping it. But when that exhibition in Baltimore happens, please give me the information so I can
Yes.
go. I would love to see your pieces. Also, I need to get a sister piece or brother piece to which it's something to compliment what you did and have that on my wall.
Yeah.
I want to have Sister Fa going around, Sister Effie going around like my living room, literally. That's what I hope to get. Like all originals. I'm telling you, that's my vision. Like all originals, just have your like. I want when people walk into my home and walk into my living room, it looks like they're in like an African centered
Yeah.
art museum. You know,
Yes.
and so I definitely gotta check out more of your work, more of your pieces, and grab some more originals. You're doing amazing work. And so,
Thank you.
is melanatedgreats.com still active?
melanatedgrades.com is still active. It was on hiatus. I was just getting so bogged down with artwork that it's been like just a shell website with like 3 products for like the last 6 months. But I am revamping it, and it should be back up fully sometime mid-April. So I'll definitely send you that. And that's another thing. Thank you for Meltrek always having a relationship with Melanated Greats, because I know that your boys are big fans of the book, and I
Yes.
love partnering with Meltrek,
Yes.
and I think that's awesome. Young men with drive and a purpose, and disseminating the positivity out there, and I'm glad Melanated Greats can be a part of that. So thank
Yes,
you for that.
we love it. We love your unsung heroes activity book. The children love it. We're going to be incorporating that in our program Conscious Ingenuity, which is a STEAM based program that utilizes character confidence. I'm sorry, that utilizes STEAM to build character confidence and capabilities. But we are going to be incorporating because now they've given us third graders. So we have the program in several Baltimore City public schools, but now they're giving us third grade. And we're like, wait a minute, we developed the curriculum for fourth, fifth, and in sixth through eighth. And now they're giving us third graders. And third graders like to color, they like to watch stuff, they like to build. And so we're going to be, our third graders will be coloring melanated greats paper sheets,
Oh
sheets. So
wow.
what I'll do is when we get to that part, I'll just take pictures of it and send it to you. So if you
Yeah.
want to post it on your website, I can show how we're using it at different schools in Baltimore. So that's coming soon, sister.
Yeah, and let me know, because I can send some giant coloring sheets and a whole box of stuff. Let me know.
Oh,
I
they
would
would
love to
love
do that.
those babies would love it. And I would just take pictures and videos of them, coloring away. So I appreciate you, Queens. And I
Yes.
thank you all again from the bottom of my heart for
Oh, can I say one more thing
oh,
before we
please
go,
do.
just in
Please do.
case
Please
Baba,
do.
because y'all got in on the Baba Baruti love, and I love me some Baba Baruti. I love me some Mama. Yeah, I love them over there. But
Yes.
I'm going to be illustrating Baba Baruti's next book. So I'm super excited.
Wow,
Well,
that is
the cover artwork, I'll be illustrating.
amazing.
I'm super excited about it. I just want to let him know, if he listens to this. Love you, Baba Baruti.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Right?
That's
Look, y'all
amazing.
gonna have his book on y'all shelf with my artwork on
With
it.
your artwork, and I daggone sure going to have it. I try to buy his books every time one comes out, and you're going to illustrate the
I'm going
cover
to
of the next
illustrate
book.
it. Yes, the
Wonderful,
next one.
wonderful.
He's currently, I think he's finished writing it. I think he's working on just like all the publication aspect of it. But yeah, I think it's going to be available the end of this year or the begin or January next year. But
He's
yeah,
aw-
maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe he doesn't. Okay. But anyway, yeah, I'll be illustrating it. That's definitely public, but I don't know when he'll be releasing
well,
it.
he's
But
when he's going to release it.
yeah,
But I
Yeah,
mean, shout
I'm
out.
gonna need the whole book club to go and grab that book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to read his book, Identity. We just have like several books, kind of like we already kind of mapped out what we wanted to read this year. But another one book we're definitely going to read is Identity. We're definitely going to read his book, Centered. What does it mean to be centered? And so we're going to discuss that. It's so many, Sister F, it's so many books that I want to read. It's like I don't even have enough time in a day to just
Yeah,
read everything that I
yeah.
want to read. But
And I don't
again,
like audiobooks, so
yeah, I don't
I'm a
do
paper
audiobooks.
and yeah.
Yeah, I don't do audiobooks either, you know. But I just want to again thank you, Queens, from the bottom of my heart for all of the work, your contributions to, our people. Both of you ladies are phenomenal, great women. I wouldn't even surround myself. You know how you like, it's like I wouldn't surround myself with women that I didn't deem great. Like you all are great women that I have connected with over the years and that I've come to just appreciate. And iron sharpens iron. Because Sister Effie and I, we didn't have some drag out. We be beefing on them. What you said? Well, I thought, just going. But it's growth. It's growth. We talk,
Yeah,
we
it
hash things
is. It's
out,
growth.
and it's all growth and it's all love. And that's what I appreciate about you, Queens. And so I'll send you all a text message and we can coordinate another time, another date and time for you all to come on so we can talk about, colorism, featureism, and body shaming. And so I think that's something that we definitely need to address. All right. And so thank you all for coming on. Family, join me back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have Dr. Hunter Adams coming on the platform to talk about a number of things. We're going to talk about the calling our ancestors slaves. He has a whole book entitled We Were Never Slaves. And so we're going to talk about that. And for those of you who don't know who Dr. Hunter Adams is, this brother was like this with Dr. Patricia Newton, who became an ancestor about a year ago. And both of
Hmm.
them, both of them majored in psychiatry. I think both of them went to like medical school and majored in,
Hmm.
neurology or something like that, neuroscience, something like that, but studying the brain. So we're going to talk about, our ancestors were never slaves. We're also going to talk about how the brain works. And so he said that the movie The Matrix wasn't that far off. And I said, what? He was like, no, the movie The Matrix wasn't that far off in terms of how the brain works. So we're going to get into that tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you don't join me tomorrow, make sure that you join me on Sunday for the Read Book Club. We're reading and discussing chapter 7 of the book, The Color of Money by Mercer Baradarin. And so that book is fire. If you don't have the book or haven't even read the chapter, still tune in because I'm telling you, you're going to learn something. All right, peace